Welcome to the WTOC First Alert Weather Podcast, sponsored by Ogeechee Heating and Air.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for this special edition of the WTOC First Alert Weather Podcast. I'm meteorologist Dave Turley, and I'm joined as always by meteorologist Andrew Gorton. Andrew, tell everybody why it's a special podcast today.
Well, we've got a few reasons. First Alert weather days ahead for cold, but also because of the chance for some wintry precipitation.
Yeah.
That's the special part of it.
That's what we're going to be talking about in here today. Will it snow? Won't it snow? Too early to tell exactly what's going to be going on. But we're going to give you what we know as of right now. We're going to start by what's coming up first. Let's let you know we are recording this today is Thursday, January 15th. So as you look ahead, we have two First Alert weather days due to the cold. The first one here coming up tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's going to be very chilly, likely going to be the coldest morning since last January. So inland areas could get down in the teens. For Savannah specifically, we're looking at lows around 23.
Yeah, that's well below average, which is typically 40. So a very cold, hard freeze expected tomorrow morning. And then again, another First Alert weather day due to the cold coming up on Monday, as we're going to see lows again, it looks like back in the low to mid 20s.
Yeah, Monday's important because thousands of people will be outside for the MLK Day parades across the region. So, this time, if there weren't parades, maybe we wouldn't do this, but a lot of people need to be prepared for being outside.
Yeah, something that's going to be very impactful for everybody who has to be out there, because we're still going to have temperatures, it looks like maybe at or close to freezing, even around that 9 o'clock hours. People are heading out trying to get their spots along the parade route. So those are the two First Alert weather days due to the cold. Want to make sure that you are going to be aware of that. And as Andrew mentioned, this is going to be the coldest temperatures we've seen since last January.
Yep. So the 23rd, of course, 21. This was that stretch of time in which we had the snow last year. So it stuck around. It was a little icy. Roads were not that good for a couple of days because it got so cold, and even some melted, refroze. It was kind of a mess. Not going to be the case this time.
No, we don't expect that in here for this time, but want to make sure you're prepared for the cold. So just make sure you do the regular things that we talk about. Bring your pets inside. If they can't be brought inside, make sure they have extra blankets, some shelter to keep themselves warm. Bring in or cover tender and sensitive vegetation and plants. And of course, we have the other options in here as well.
I definitely need to work on the plants, and space heaters can be a little dangerous, so just be mindful of that. It's good to have one with the timer. And shout out to one of your dogs.
Yeah, that's Max out there. I had him in there. That's a few years old. He's got a little bit more white around his face. He's a little older now. He's 9 years old now.
Cute.
But also not a bad idea to open up those cabinet doors, allow a little bit of extra heat coming in from your home into your pipes to keep them warm as well. And drip the pipes if you have especially any type of exposed plumbing where that is above ground. You definitely need to make sure to take precautions for that.
You get them at like hardware stores or whatever, the faucet covers for outside, so that can work as well. I see some people putting those out when it gets this cold. So that's what we have to expect coming up for Friday morning.
So let's set up what we have coming up here on our Sunday. What we're going to be watching, there is going to be a cold front moving in Wednesday night. That's going to bring in at least a slight chance for some light showers Saturday night. And the front's going to move through with not much fanfare. The question is, what's that low pressure doing?
Yeah, the low placement is really going to be what determines what happens for us. Right now, kind of I guess you put it all together and it looks like the best chance for any rain snow mix is going to be away from the coast for inland areas where that cold air can catch up to the moisture behind the front the easiest.
Yeah, because the front's going to be to our south Sunday and the cold air is going to be rushing in from the north. So we're going to have a lot of warmer, relatively warmer air, above freezing air here at the surface, but cold air aloft moving on in. And is that going to help change maybe a little bit of that precip to some wintry precipitation? It's possible. This is the European computer model here for Sunday, and you can see we'll stop it here at 9 a.m. and it's showing a little bit of some pink out there.
Yeah, so you can kind of call this a win-win in a way because the travel impacts not going to be because of anything icy that's sticking. Right now, we're not expecting, bridge closures or anything like that. So you might see some snow mixed in with the cold rain. Again, we think this is going to be mostly cold rain at this point with some mixed snow potentially in there. So you might get to see it without the bad travel impacts. That being said, cold rain's not fun to drive through either.
No, so the roads are going to be wet, it looks like, coming up here on Sunday morning, but the ground temperatures are going to be above freezing because we're actually going to be in the mid 60s on Saturday, the day before. So that's going to help warm up the ground here. So as this starts to move, we're not really expecting much of any freezing, and temperatures as we continue to go through the day hovering just above freezing, it looks like. So again, the roads should be okay. There could be a little bit of mixture in there with rain and snow. Could be a little bit more of a mixture with a little bit of snow, especially for inland areas as we go throughout late morning and early afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. But this is at 1 o'clock, and as this moisture moves out, that temperature will warm up a bit across the region as well. So as we go forward past this, you can see it turns more into green. And then as you go overnight, temperatures go back below freezing, but you do have a good bit of time for some drying out there as well. So we're going to have to make sure it dries out. But overall, we're not looking at any lingering impacts.
Right. So it's not going to be a huge impact on the region. What we're looking at right now is this is the percentage of will we see any type of snow out there mixed with some of that rain. It's 30 to 50%. This is according to the National Weather Service. They're thinking that a little bit higher amounts as you get further inland, Vidalia into Statesboro, back over towards Savannah, about a 40-60% chance.
Yeah, but you look at a 50% chance, and if you're somebody who thinks of odds, that's a coin flip that you might just see rain. So this isn't a guarantee. These are just the chances for it to happen, being a little bit greater for inland communities right now.
So it's definitely going to be a big talker. We're going to be watching that as we move on into our weekend. And there it is, putting it all together for you. 3 First Alert weather days, starting with the cold on Friday. Saturday, we warm up. There's a high. Again, we talked about that, 65 degrees. So that's going to help warm up the ground temperatures here, the surface temperatures. And then there's that potential for that wintry mix.
Yeah, and the models too, some are showing a little bit less moisture than the one that we showed you. So it might not end up being too snowy, but the chance is definitely there, and that's what we're communicating. We're not communicating any big travel trouble, anything like that. So just make sure you're getting those updates, because as we're recording this, we're still a few days out.
Yeah, we're getting the morning data in right now. The Euro should be coming in the next hour and a half or so. And then we continue to get updates a couple times every single day. So as we go into Friday, we'll get more of what we call those mesoscale models going out as far, and they'll give us a better accurate idea of what they think is going to happen for Sunday as well. So it's all about the possibilities. Doesn't look like it's going to be a big travel impact on our region, but it's definitely something that we're all going to be watching for, because it doesn't happen that often for our area.
What do we call it? A novelty.
Yeah, certainly is
kind of a novelty in a way. And it's on a Sunday. I wanted to end with that. It's not going to mess with, the school and a lot of work schedules. Of course, if you're going to a service on the morning time frame, just be mindful of the dampness.
Yeah, so you can get these updates on that First Alert weather app as well. That's going to show you the cold again on Monday with the First Alert for the morning hours, because we warm up to the 50s. Once we get past about 9 a.m., temperatures will be above freezing, and those First Alert weather days will be over. But we keep it chilly, below average. For Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, but temperatures still possibly into the 20s again.
Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, beyond the 7-day forecast, looks like we warm up a little bit, but I know there's a lot of cold mornings ahead of us before we get to that point.
So stay tuned for updates. We'll be glad to give them to you on the WTOC First Alert weather app and all our WTOC platforms. For meteorologist Andrew Gorton, I'm meteorologist Dave Turley. We will see you next time.